In Japan, it's so important to try to second-guess the people above you, they even have a special word for it: sontaku. Originally used to mean surmise, it gained currency as a medical term for trying to determine the wishes of a patient in a vegetative state, but has since been voted Word of the Year in a very different context. Don't wait for instructions, watch and listen to your superiors carefully, and act accordingly. For sumo wrestlers wedded to the Japan Sumo Association, so close to government that it learned about the state of emergency days before we did, sontaku is a must. Please don't conflate their terse answers in post-bout interviews with a lack of intelligence. In private, surrounded by friends, they will speak just as freely as you and I. But in public, it's all a question of, what would my stable master want me to say? What would the sumo chairman want him to want me to say? And they are helped by the fact sumo journalists buy into this, forever considering, what would my reputable company expect me to ask? What will the sumo media team let me get away with before revoking my press pass? And so the game continues, to the extent that wrestlers can easily predict the questions from NHK, Sankei, Nikkan, Hochi, and fire off stock answers as easily as they would a move in training. And, in a more relaxed setting, they'll laugh and joke about how stilted their comments seem, how futile the official interview process can be. Even Kiseno Sato, mocked for extreme reticence before the mic, told a friendly journalist he was in on the game in a recent joint interview with Tokushoryu. I know you're dealing with newfound fame, he told the January champion, but these guys expect certain answers from us, don't they? Just tell them you'll do your best and be done with it. That's what I did. I give you this background so we don't apportion blame to Takakeisho and Asanoyama, who have given up more time than necessary to speak to journalists of late. When asked to comment on May tournament uncertainty, they simply asked themselves, what would an Ozeki be expected to say? Takakeisho's verdict: we've just got to look at it positively and think, it's 2 weeks extra to get in condition. It's difficult, but we have to make the best of this tough environment. Asanoyama's verdict: when you look at all the other athletes deprived of a place to practice, you have to say we're lucky, blessed, because we can just continue practicing in our stables. Let us also remind ourselves that almost right up until the emergency declaration last week, the official line from the Japanese government, to whom Takakeisho and Asanoyama's bosses are ultimately responsible, was that the virus outbreak was under control, especially while they still held out hope of staging the Olympics on schedule. Our hygiene practices are among the best in the world. Our people are among the most considerate in the world. We don't even need to force them to socially distance. Their consideration of others will naturally lead them to do it. They wouldn't use the pejorative sontaku term on their own voters, but you can see what's implied. I'm sure my Japanese viewers will back me up. So Asanoyama, a university graduate with a large vocabulary, had every reason to believe he had chosen his words carefully and acceptably. However, deep down, he obviously had his doubts. First, there was his reference to the Olympics originally scheduled for July. As they've been postponed, maybe the May tournament will be called off. Then, after the emergency was declared, a specific reference to the virus. This means a very large number of Tokyoites are infected. This is serious. According to NHK commentator Hiro Morita, in a piece penned for NHK's English website, several senior wrestlers had been equally, if not more, concerned about the virus situation even in March, with some telling him, on the condition of anonymity, they would rather Osaka had been cancelled. For those men, Morita was the perfect outlet, a native Japanese confidant who would listen to their concerns and write them up in English, too difficult for their bosses to bother sifting through. But you know, things are getting serious when wrestlers start confessing similar thoughts to Japanese media. That means they want their bosses to read. And yesterday, April the 11th, Sports Hochi quoted an unnamed top division veteran as saying, in light of Sumo's first confirmed virus case, "We're now at a stage where anybody can get infected. Can we really be expected to train, keep in continuous physical contact in times like these? Oh, just cancel the May tournament." He's not the only one with such strong feelings. My message? Your favorite wrestlers are not blindly doing sontaku, not meekly accepting the current situation, but thinking about things intelligently and trying to find solutions behind the scenes. And remember, despite the differences between public and private comments, not exclusive to Japan, I'm sure you'll agree, the old adage continues to hold true. Actions speak louder than words. Hakuho obliged his bosses by claiming it was a positive the May tournament had been postponed and not cancelled, but you won't find him training. Nor will you find his stablemates training. Sports Hochi has been informed the father of four is especially concerned about the potential for infection, and that his Miyagi no stable will not resume training until those fears have been allayed.